Just a little bit off topic at first, but walking in, I'm seeing cement trucks pouring concrete in the new basketball facility. How involved have you been in that? Can you tell us a little bit about some of the things you're looking forward to, or your office is going to be there, and maybe just give us a little bit of an overall on what you know about the new facility?
Yeah, I haven't had much to do with it at all, to be honest with you yet. I think once they kind of get the foundation and then we start doing, some of the decorating and what we want on the interior, then we'll get more involved. Obviously like with the court and kind of how it's going to look. Like we've had those conversations. Our offices will not be over there. It'll just be the two practice courts for now, and I think they'll have a lobby area, which could be good for recruiting, or when you walk by to the football games, like you'll be able to see it. But yeah, our offices will still be in the same place.
Hey, just after reviewing the film from last night, what things did you like? What things didn't you like so much?
Yeah, I thought our effort was great. I thought we competed. We were scrappy. We got a lot of the loose balls. And I know that's something that Illinois really prides themselves on, and they got their fair share too. But like that's a tough team, and I really liked our guys' fight. I thought and I knew even during the game, like we missed too many shots at the front of the rim. I thought they did a great job walling up, a lot with their jump walls with big number 13. And he did a great job not coming down and fouling. And, we had probably 6, 7 where, like, we have to make those layups, to kind of change the game. Early on, we were struggling. I think we started, 1 for our first 10 from the field. And we had good looks, but we just needed a couple of those to fall to kind of give us, just a little more juice to start the game. But then at the end of the day, it comes down to, guarding the basketball. And, they got some good players, and they made, especially 32, at the end of the game. He showed why he's going to be a top 10 draft pick, and he kind of did what he wanted the last, 4 or 5 minutes of the game.
Hey, obviously, we talked to you right after that game, and just I hadn't seen the play by DJ and when he drove, and but after sort of watching it on film, did you think it was just one of those at the end of the game, Big Ten, sort of we're just going to let this go, or do you think there was something more than that?
I don't know. I thought he got fouled on the drive. The guy grabbed his left arm, and the foul wasn't necessarily like when the jump ball, like that might have been a jump ball. Like I couldn't tell from the angle even on film, like it probably was. But when he drove by the kid grabbed his left arm and turned him. And by the time he got his left hand back on the ball, it was a jump ball. But there was, I thought his progress was impeded. But obviously they didn't see it that way. And like you said, you don't want a game to end like that. I know they'd complain if their guy got grabbed, but it's one of those you got to play through some contact too. And I don't want to. The refs did not cost us that game. In fact, going back and watching, I thought they did a pretty good job. Calling the game both sides. It sucks when it comes down to something critical. In the last 20 seconds like that.
Coach, with a tough stretch coming up, are you expecting to have Frank Kapnock back for it at all?
Hopefully, hopefully. I don't think he'll be back this week. But yeah, I mean. Hopefully, we were expecting him back a couple weeks ago, to be honest with you. So, hopefully, hopefully we can get him back.
You're going into kind of like a classic Big Ten gauntlet now, which, obviously that's what you sign up for, but 5 straight ranked teams, all of that. You've been learning sort of about your team throughout this process, but what can a stretch like that teach you when you're going on the road and you're back and forth and it's kind of, this is what the challenge is going to be going forward? What is this stretch maybe? What are you hoping it teaches you about your team?
Yeah, I think it's going to show. First off, this league tests you mentally. Not just physically. Like you've seen the last 2 games, how physical those games are, and even with the USC and UCLA game. So it's gonna test you physically, but I think more mentally. Not just the travel, but like going into some of these environments where you're gonna see a lot of adversity. And we're gonna have to be a mentally tough team. We're gonna have to be able to, get to the next play, to the next game, to the next day, because it's too hard of a league not to. So I'm excited to see how, our staff really, we got to coach our guys through that. because it's coming, and I mean it's coming Thursday night, in one of the most hostile environments in the entire country, and so we're gonna have to do a really good job. But I'm excited to see how we handle that.
You mentioned, going on the road in environments you haven't seen this season and having that mental toughness. Is that just to gain that toughness? Is that just calluses? Do you need to take some of those hits, or
Oh, yeah.
how do you grow that as a team?
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, and I think we've taken some lumps and been calloused even through the non-conference. We won some close games early where it was really ugly, and we learned from those games. We took a tough loss to Seattle U. We learned from it. We're a lot better now than we were back on December 23rd. Now, it's nice having our whole team back, not our whole team, but a majority of our guys back too, because I think you've seen when we have Wilhelm in the lineup, we're a totally different team offensively and defensively, and so but yeah, I mean it's we'll still have to get some calluses, and they're coming, but I think it's going to make us a better team by the end of the year, and sometimes that adversity it brings you closer together, and you kind of find out who doesn't have 2 feet in. And I'm not worried about that with our team. I think there's been times where with so many new guys, there kind of has been, man, where's my role? What's it? I think they're starting to get defined a little more, and I feel like we're coming a little bit closer together as a team, every game, and hopefully that continues.
Coach, what enabled DJ to have the kind of game that he did? It feels like it was kind of bubbling, and it finally boiled over in that game.
Yeah, he's one of those guys like a lot of, elite shooters. Sometimes it's just seeing one go through the net. I mean, 3 of his best looks were the 3 at the very beginning of the game that he didn't make, And so, but he's one of those guys that, when he gets going, like he can really get going. He's got a tremendously quick release. I thought we ran some good actions to kind of get him, some baseline action to. It's hard to guard. Even when you guard it right, you got to be there on the catch. And we needed all 7 of his threes last night just to stay in the game, because it was on the verge a couple times of going from 11 to 14 or 8 to 10, and he'd hit a 3 to stymie that run. And, I don't know if it was anything like that's what I expect, and I'm shocked he hasn't had more of those already this year. But hopefully he saved them all for January and February.
Coach, any history with Tom Izzo?
No. Other than, obviously a ton of respect for what he's done, not just with that program, but just what he's done for coaches. He's a coach's coach. He's one guy, even since I got the job, he at the Big Ten meetings, he took time to talk to me, hey, kind of tell me about the Big Ten and hey, if you ever need me, here's my number, reach out. And I really appreciated that, because he's obviously a guy that we all look up to, but I've never played against his teams or things like that.
Zoom Diallo, day 1 till last night. Where's his growth been most that you've seen?
Yeah, I think, just confidence-wise, and I think our staff, we've done a pretty good job of building him up, and I've said it in all these. He's a freshman, and I'm super proud. I actually just met with him for about 45 minutes. I'm proud of where he's at. Even yesterday, did he have the game he wanted to? No, but it's Big Ten basketball against a top 10 team in the country, in my estimation, and I thought he played great. He had great looks at the rim that I know he's going to make those, but sometimes this is the first time, too, he's going against a 7-1 guy at the rim coming to chest up, and that changes finishing. But just seeing the game, he's made huge strides defensively. Is he still where he needs to be? No. But he's way ahead of where he was in June when we got him. And so I love the trajectory. I love his attitude. He's got a learning mindset. That's why he came in. He wanted to meet with me today, and he just came in and we watched the film, and he's all about, Coach, what can I do better? I feel like, I didn't do what I was supposed to do last night. And I was like, no, you did exactly what you're supposed to do. there's going to be nights where shots don't drop. There's going to be missed box outs. There's going to be times where you get driven, but how do we learn from that? And he's continued to get a little bit better every week, and that's why he's going to be a great player.
I know you watch football, and last year, the legend of Zach Durfee, before he even played it down, was astronomical. Now we're starting to see the same thing with a guy that you're getting that's never played, where the reputation with your French guy. Is it Dumande?
Yeah, Dom. Yeah.
Are you expecting him in anytime soon? And once he does get here, I know you don't know what you've got completely with him. Is he a guy that you could fans should expect to come in and actually help?
No, I think that's. I would love if that's the case, but I do think it's unrealistic he's still 18 years old. He's coming from a different country. We've had guys practicing since June that know the plays, know what we expect, done all the drills, and to expect him to come in and, I don't know, like whenever he gets here, like, oh, yeah, hey, we're just going to throw you up. We're going to throw you in against Purdue. Like, that's not fair. Is he talented? Yeah, he is. I'm really excited to get him on the court and coach him and really see, what he can do, what he can't do, and things like that. But I do know, watching a lot of film and talking to a lot of, high-level scouts and even some NBA scouts that have seen him, like they love his versatility, being, 6'7", long, really fast twitch, aggressive, and that's something we don't have right now. And so hopefully, but yeah, like I said, my expectations, my expectations for all my guys are high, but until I really see him and work with him and get a feel for who he is, it's just, I don't know what I can expect right now.
One more, just Tyler Harris had a breakout game a little while ago, and he seems to have gone a little bit silent. What's going on with Tyler?
Yeah, it's just, getting scouted, playing against some big physical guys. I think he's done some good things, but has he scored as much as he probably would like or we'd like? No, but, it's going to come and go. And sometimes it's a product of, our team too, where DJ's getting hot or if Zoom's getting shots or great, whoever, like, sometimes you can only take so many shots per game and being efficient with those shots. And I really appreciate Tyler because he's not a four-man, but we've had to play him there. He's not, physical enough right now. He's a young 19 years old, and sometimes I forget that. And so like he's trying, which I appreciate, and I appreciate him playing both those, positions and doing it still at a pretty high level. But like you said, is he scoring as much as, he's probably accustomed to? No, but that's a product of playing in a higher conference too and being young.
Have a quick scouting report on Michigan State. It just seems like just from the games that I saw that they rebound well and they get to the line and they make the free throws. They seem like just a typical sort of Tom Izzo type of team. I love his style. It's 3 yards in a cloud of dust is what it is. It is physical, and they're going to test us. They're going to test us early. When they screen you, they screen you. When they box you out, they're hitting you. And it's something that our guy, like, we're going to have to respond to it. And and we're going to have to play with that same edge that his teams always play with. Because I imagine it'll be our most physical game this year. And, obviously it's early. You haven't talked to your team yet to really prepare them for this game. But what do you think will be the keys to, for Thursday?
Yeah, I think, getting back to our recipe for success, taking care of the basketball, getting good shots, and controlling tempo. Like, we can't take crazy shots. When you go into, I think it's called the Breslin Center, like, you can't go in there and take crazy shots. You'll get blown right out. And you can play really good there and still get beat by 20. They've beaten some really good teams there this year by over 30. And so we have to do a really good job controlling tempo, taking good shots, taking care of the basketball, making sure we're doing the fundamental stuff, screening them, like making it hard for them to guard us too. And then you have to handle their crowd. You know, like we have to be mature enough to how are we going to execute when you can't hear, you can't communicate. You know, how are we going to be in that environment? Because it's coming, and and then at the end of the day, like I said, handling their crowd and their runs. Like we have to continue to scrap and play how we did the last two games. With some physicality defensively and coming up with loose balls and finding ways to get stops.
And then to like that right there, in terms of trying to get you guys ready for the crowd, what the average like 15,000, whatever. Do you do the pipe in the noise during practice types of deals, or
Yeah,
what
we'll
do you
probably do. Yeah, we'll do something. We'll do something this week like that. We'll have to probably use our board, right on it because, like I said, they're not going to hear me. They're not going to hear our staff. And even if it's Zoom or Tyree giving a call, they're not going to hear it. And so we have to do a good job of getting all five players, in a habit of looking over, like seeing the call and then coming down and executing it.
And then just in terms of like the first really true Big Ten road trip, are you going to take tons of notes and just kind of like how you guys are going to do this in terms of years to come? Like what do you do Friday and Saturday? Do you stay there? Do you go forward? Like because it was after yesterday's game that Brad sort of talked about like how he just felt it was weird, that he felt it was like an NCAA, it was worse than an NCAA tournament to have that extra day off.
Yeah, even talking to Illinois staff, they're like, man, this trip is like brutal. Like it's so light. I'm like, yeah, we have to do it 4 times. You guys do it once. And and so it's a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for everybody. It's a learning year. I think learning different places to travel, and even next year we're going to be traveling to different places. And so, I imagine we'll call the staffs at UCLA and USC because they're playing kind of the opposite schedule we are, and so kind of seeing what worked for them, and we'll tell them the same, what worked for us. But we're going to take off, I believe, late tomorrow after class. And that way we can get there late tomorrow night and have Wednesday and Thursday to kind of get acclimated. And then we'll go straight from, we'll stay, at Michigan State that night after the game and then go up to Ann Arbor midday Friday. But, yeah, we're going to take notes on kind of what worked, what didn't. And I'm also going to take notes on, like what works for those Big Ten schools, like what are they doing atmosphere-wise, facility-wise, their practice facility, like what are some things we like that, that can help our program.